welcome students, it's me, Mr. Gold here today to teach you about filming, the wonderful, wonderful art of filming. There's so little to say, but so much to say at the same time. For starters, let's start off with the basics. You need to make your videos as intriguing as possible so your viewers' retention stays. If you have absolutely no pauses or breaks or different angles, we will not be talking about editing today though, we will be mainly focused on filming. Now, if you haven't already noticed, one big thing to keep your eye on is the angles. That is right. Make sure you have angles when you film. Using different angles, zooming in and out with your camera between breaks, just giving the viewers something to see and something that's visually interesting. For example, now I'm just going to do one prolonged take of everything, and yeah, as you can see, the camera even gets unfocused sometimes, but we're just doing one whole big take on this, so there's absolutely no breaks right now, and so far we're going 13, 14 seconds. And yeah, are you bored yet? Or do you want to see some more angles, or like how are you feeling after that? So pausing in between scenes make it so easy so you can adjust your camera, the zoom, and just do all that. Not to mention, pausing in between takes makes it easier when it comes to filming. Then you have less footage to file through. Second off, camera. So a lot of people think you need a fancy Canon T7i Pro X Grande Latte sort of thing, but you don't. Phone cameras these days are exceptional and they make such professional videos. And the audio on them is not bad either. A common question Sugar Diamond gets a lot is what type of camera she uses. So I will be telling you, it's a Canon PowerShot SX740HS in 4K. Did you catch all that? But any camera works great, as long as it's not super grainy. Another tip I have for you is lighting. Oh, I'm sure you've heard this a million times over, but window lighting is great if you're filming during the day. If not, using desk lamps and softboxes and ring lights sure do the trick. Having two lights is always a plus. I have one on this side and one on that side. That way you get an even balance and not a terrible shadow, although there's still a tiny shadow. I used to use 3 lights, but in the summertime it just gets too hot and the softboxes take up a lot of space in the studio, so that is why we use a ring light and a desk lamp, and occasionally we will open the window for some natural light on this side to help get rid of that shadow. Not to mention, lighting can also make an enormous difference when it comes to setting the mood for a scene. For example, we have one other ring light that's not in use right now, but we will turn it on and it has a different setting to make it warmer here. So if we want to make like a romantic setting or like a sunset scene, this is how it would look. So I'm going to pause the camera and I'm not going to adjust any of the camera features. This is all going to be lighting. So take a look at it now. And here is a complete change. So I turned off both of my regular lights I used and I turned on the ring light that has the really warm hue to it. So here's the really warm hue, and as you can see, it makes everything a little oranger, and it just overall gives a more warm feeling, like a coffee shop vibe almost. But we can also switch it, so it has a different setting. Here is just the normal color light, which I think it looks really good. And then we have the very cool blue, which is very cold, and it would be sort of the lighting you'd see in like a factory scene maybe. Yeah, as you can see, these are just the different lightings, and so let's switch it to the normal one and let's turn on my regular ring light. And this is the sort of lighting we get. Then if we add the lamp, boom, it just adds a whole bunch of light to the scene. So while using all 3 lights now, I think we can continue to the next tip. The hand! Oh yes, you have to pay attention to your hand. Right now you can see I'm just grabbing the LPS with my whole entire hand. That's not really ideal. It gets a lot more in the way, especially if you're up close to the camera like this. It can get a little bit distracting, if you know what I mean. But if we just go with a nice 2 to 3 finger approach, yes, this is a real thing, don't question me. If we go like this, then it's less noticeable. Also, if you're wearing sleeves, please do not get your whole wrist and arm into the video. It is very distracting. Especially if you're filming with an upward angle, it's very easy to just get the whole wrist in there, which is very unnecessary. Which leads me to my next point, and this is a big pet peeve of mine, is make sure that your camera is level. Now, obviously, what I mean by this is to not have your camera always below the LPS or up high above the LPS. I'll give you an example. Sometimes a tripod can lead to uneven angles, which just distorts the whole video. So if you have a tripod, maybe don't use it on a desk if it's looking like this. This way, if you're also zoomed out, you get more of the wrist action in there. Like, having an LPS look up the whole time is a little like a bird's eye view. Like, it doesn't seem too natural to like an LPS POV. I don't see this one often though, but being below the LPS, yeah, no, I just don't see that very often, so I don't think we need to worry about that. Most of the time, Sugar Diamond just rests the camera right on the table. She doesn't need a tripod unless she's doing like a big unboxing or anything, but a lot of the time it's just on the table, and as long as you don't shake the table a lot, it's completely fine.
Yes, work it, girl.
Oh yeah. Don't forget to take a thumbnail when you're filming. It's always so easy to forget to take a thumbnail while you're filming, especially if you're newer to LPSTube. It's just not a habit yet, so remember to take a thumbnail when there's a really good scene. Maybe there's a scene that looks like super detailed and you want to take a thumbnail there. I always think that's really good. Because honestly, when you do Photoshop thumbnails like this of one of Sugar Diamond's videos, yeah, I'm calling her out. If you do like one like this versus a like real thumbnail versus one on like a graphic background, these videos tend to usually do better. People don't really like the ones with the weird Photoshop backgrounds, so. And like all habits, sometimes just watching other people's LPS videos, you'll pick up naturally on different angles where the LPS are on the screen. Like there's the rule of thirds in classic film stuff. It's like the characters are talking on thirds, so one might be over here talking, sort of on this third of the screen, and then also on this third of the screen. Like your character does not always need to be in the middle of the screen, taking up the whole entire screen. You can get a little artsy with the angles sometimes, as long as it's not too distracting. Obviously, like everything, practice. Having no background noise and a clean background is also very, very good, and you don't always need intense props and sets and stuff just to make an awesome LPS video. However, I would also say do put a little bit of time and effort into props and sets and stuff, especially if the viewer will need to use their imagination if you don't, you know? So always having nice sets do engage the viewer a little bit more, just because it gives them more things to look at in the background. And that about covers the course. I hope a lot of it was straightforward. And the next step is editing. But I'll not be your teacher for that course. But, you know, as directors say, lights, camera, action. Mr. Gold sure had a lot to say, didn't he? I hope you enjoyed his class and learned a thing or two about filming and camera angles and lighting. Oh, okay, you're gonna be late for your next class, so hurry, go!